All right, we have some other breaking news that we want to bring you here. I was just on the phone with the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department. Let me tell you how this story developed. This afternoon, I received a phone call. If you recall, Kim Landry, a school teacher here in Terrebonne Parish, was hit and struck by a vehicle and knocked in a ditch on St. Louis Canal Road a couple of weeks ago. She was left for dead. Person hit her and took off. I received a phone call today from a confidential source telling me that she knew who did the act, who did the hit and run. And further asking her, she said that the woman said that her conscience was bothering her. Remember, we came on the news story that night and said, whoever did this will be watching. Your conscience will bother you. Eventually, you will tell someone. It seems that that's what allegedly happened. Well, we called the Sheriff's Department, and we supplied a name. I just got off the phone with the Sheriff's Department, and let's bring up Kim's picture just for a second once again. This is the school teacher that was hit. She was the victim. She is recuperated now, but went through major hurdles to be in a recuperative process. So let's take that picture off. I don't want to confuse it with the person that has been arrested. So Jay, let's take that picture off if we can. Arrested just in the last few minutes is Robin Herring, R-O-B-B-I-N, Herring, H-E-R-R-I-N-G, 51 years of age, 319 Capri Court. She is charged by the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department with a felony hit and run and obstruction of justice. I was told that things matched up and that her vehicle was brought in at that time, around that time, to be repaired for damage that seems it would have matched the crime scene. So the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department has made an arrest in that case, and so that I know that bothered the family. It bothered a lot of teachers. It bothered a lot of people. And remember, she has not confessed to police that she did this act, but they are saying that the evidence matched up and that they have evidence in more than one arena. So they have made an arrest, and the alleged perpetrator of this act is Robin Herring, 51, of 319 Capri Court. So once again, I know that Kim and her family and relatives and everybody close to that situation, including school teachers, were waiting to see what transpired. And once again, I've seen it too many times in 25 years of being here in the channel. When somebody commits a crime, the conscience gets in the way. She must have been talking to someone and getting it off her chest, and that someone somewhere, somehow, had a conscience also, contacted us, and we in turn contacted Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department. So, hopefully all the evidence will be compiled and we can put some closure to this. But once again, everyone innocent till proven guilty in the court of law. We'll see it through and see what happens as far as that goes. All right, so we'll have more in that. We'll bring this up again on the 6 o'clock version of Bayou Time in case people are just getting back home and seeing what is taking place. That's if you want to call 879-1231, 879-1231. Tell us how you're feeling. Tell us what you're thinking with this thing. You heard the parish president in St. Mary saying 10 to 15 inches of rain is the last report that they can expect. It's going to be similar in Terrebonne Parish and Lafourche Parish as to how this thing comes aboard. Let's bring some maps up full screen if we can, Jay, to give our audience a better chance And as I'm talking over the maps, I'm also going to be checking all the text messages that go with it, because we have a lot of people trying to get in and get information in. The position, once again, hasn't changed since the 4 p.m. advisory, and we can move that along if we want to. There, you heard the parish president, Paul Nakhan, talking about coming in St. Mary. There you see it. We are now joined, and we can keep going through the maps. We're now joined by the parish president of Lafourche Parish, Ms. Charlotte Randolph. Charlotte, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Martin.
Good. What's the latest? I know y'all been in several meetings today and watching this. Give us an update on your end in Lafourche Parish.
Well, certainly you have the latest information from the Weather Service. I'd just be repeating what you already know. Here in Lafourche, you're aware of the voluntary evacuation.
Right.
We are monitoring the situation this evening. Our earlier evacuation included people who lived below the floodgate in Golden Meadow, as well as Fouchon and Grand Isle. Some of the discussion today was concerning the fact that this could potentially be a minor hurricane. And I don't like the use of the word minor and hurricane in the same sentence, but at the same time, people who live in substandard housing may be concerned about tomorrow if the winds do increase and the gusts can go up to hurricane strength. So we'll make a call in the morning to open the shelter to additional people if necessary. That is the LaRose Civic Center that we have opened. We're going to monitor the numbers there as to whether or not we have to open another shelter for people.
From last night until today, I mean, it looks like this thing has tried to get organized and it's acting together a little better, but it's still a race against the clock whether it has enough time. But we talked about Hurricane Juan last night. It's just looking more and more like it, but you're definitely, Lafourche Parish and Terrebonne and sister cities, definitely on a rain-soaked side of it.
Well, and the other part of it, Morton, is the storm we didn't mention last night was Cindy.
Right.
The storm that occurred before Katrina, it was described as a minor hurricane or just below a hurricane, and that thing came into Lafourche. I remember it vividly. The winds in it were really strong, and late at night, and so people became frightened. Those who lived in buildings that they didn't feel could survive that. So that's why we want to make that call early in the morning before the intensification of this, to open up shelters, this particular shelter, and more if we need to.
You know, that's a great point, Charlotte. Cindy came through. I remember we were reading buoy readings on HTV that was showing hurricane strength winds, and a few months later they changed it. The National Weather Service called it Hurricane Cindy. So that's probably a better example than Juan, because you're right, it can escalate pretty quickly, can't it?
Well, and then it's almost like Cindy and Juan got married, okay?
You're right.
Because Cindy's strength with Juan's lingering is the best description of this. The people who went through both of them, it could produce some stronger winds than we had earlier anticipated, and that's why we're monitoring that very carefully.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to show a shot of the floodgate here in a second. Your storm surge, I just asked Mr. Claude the same question. What's your concerns, if any, on the storm surge?
Still LA1. Still the LA1 port below the floodgates in Golden Meadow, that traditional low area. And of course, that's why we've ordered these evacuations. Martin, I don't know how much time you have, but I want to get this in before we finish.
Oh, you take your time. You get it out. Okay. We're here for a long time.
Well, this is an important point because we have canceled garbage collection for tomorrow. We debated that for some time just because we know that inconveniences people, but at the same time, if the rains increase and the wind speed increases as well, these garbage cans could topple over into the ditches and really create a bigger mess than we need. So to all the residents of Lafourche Parish, we have canceled garbage collection for tomorrow, and we'll make a statement later concerning when this pickup will occur.
And I guess the best advice, sort of bring them and tuck them in somewhere close, and maybe even put a little rope on them and hold them tight.
That's correct. That's correct.
That way they won't end up in the drain.
That's correct. Initially it didn't seem as though tomorrow was going to be as bad a day, but now they're forecasting that there's going to be gusts of wind that could cause some problems. And so we decided to cancel that garbage collection for tomorrow.
And just to give the people a little comfort, it's not like you or Mr. Claude or anybody else has not been through these storms. Unfortunately, they develop, they come through. So the key thing for people, I guess, is just not to panic and just always stay vigilant and sort of watch for all the information you could get.
And we trust in the citizens of the parish to do the right thing. They'll make the best decision for themselves and their families. So let them make their gut decisions first, and then turn to us for any additional information or any additional advice. Some things we can control, like this garbage issue, but other things that I think the residents of the parish are pretty much storm savvy, and if they're not, they could talk to a neighbor or two and find out what's the best course of action. We will continuously update people. We do not get information that they are not getting. So we trust that they would do the right thing and work with us. Work with us to keep those storm drains clean, to keep the culverts clean, and that's the best thing we can do. All the pumps are operating right now and should be taking that water out of there.
Ms. Randolph, we appreciate you joining us tonight, and then good luck in the next few days. It's going to be a wait-and-see thing, and just hopefully we won't get in one of these training events that just keeps coming, but we wish you luck with your parish for sure.
Well, I wish everyone to be safe.
All right, thank you. Once again,
all right.
Ms. Charlotte Randolph, the parish president of Lafourche Parish. I see someone else on the private line. I'm not sure if that's a parish official. Who would that be, Jace? Okay, it's John Boudreaux is on the line, and he's the Assumption Parish OEP director. Hey, John, good to hear from you again.
Hey, Martin, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Give me a little information that you might have.
We've been watching the advisories as they coming in, and as everyone here, we starting to see a little rain, a few rain bands come in, get a little squall, 15, 20 mile an hour winds, and so we're monitoring. We're actively putting sand and sandbags out for anyone that feels the threat and need for sand and sandbags throughout the parish to go to those sites and get the sand and sandbags. If anyone needs to know where those sites are, we posted it on our website at AssumptionLA.com where those sites are located.
AssumptionLA.com?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Anything since we've spoken last that maybe heightens your concern about this storm at all?
Well, we just got off another conference call with the Weather Service, and it seems to be they're more confident with the track. The concern is that it will be an upper-level tropical storm, and they said that there is a slim possibility of it reaching hurricane strength. More than likely, we are still planning for either a strong tropical storm or possibly a Category 1 hurricane, and making those necessary precautions to get prepared and ramped up for those activities.
Yeah, I think like Ms. Randolph just said, really no difference between an upper tropical storm and a low hurricane. They still give you a punch and they still give you a lot of rain.
That's correct, and our biggest concern is the rainfall. Continuous rain for the next 5 days, really, of of rain, probably the heaviest of the rain tomorrow night and Sunday all day. But we're that's our biggest concern is rain and possibly a power outage which would affect our pump stations and flooding conditions because of that. So we're really monitoring those sites to make sure we can keep those up and running and be able to react if something would happen.
Do you foresee any problems with power? I mean, what's the normal wind speed that would knock you out?
I think we're probably okay for Assumption. Most of Assumption would be on the west side of this latest track.
Right.
So, and I feel for those that are in Terrebonne and Lafourche, don't want to wish anything on them, but if that current track holds true, we should be okay, but we don't want to let our guard down.
Okay. Well, we certainly appreciate, John, your input. Now, good luck to you guys at Assumption Parish over there.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you. All right. Once again, we're trying to make our way. All right, so we've covered St. Mary, we got Grand Isle, we got Terrebonne, we got Lafourche, we got Assumption, and we'll continue to go around the horn and try to get everybody involved here. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are still waiting for Chris Carter to come in. He's going to have footage of a woman arrested in the hit and run and obstruction of justice of Kim Landry, a school teacher here in Terrebonne Parish. An arrest made this afternoon in Terrebonne Parish by the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Department. We'll be right back.